How we doing, guys, gals, and non-binary pals? Invale here with the story so far video of my Season 13 Project Diablo 2 starting character. Now, apparently I must really like this build because I did a video on it in Season 10 before they brought in things like Whispering Mirage and the changes to Nat set to give you extra shadows, where I just used Fire Blast and Shockweb. Then I did it again in Season 11 with said changes, and called it the Summoning Saboteur Sin. That video didn't do as well, I think, because the alliteration. So for this video, I'm probably going to call it Death from Above, Fire Blast Shockweb Assassin. So yeah, speaking of Death from Above, let's get into the skills. So, we max out Fire Blast, max out Shockweb, and 1 point in these two because they're a bit rubbish. I'll talk about those in my Season 11 video, about how I wanted them to work, but it's better to just go with the big boys. And then we nearly max out these two. And then with Death Sentry, you can max it out, but I only go 1 point in it, because the damage looks a bit small, I know, but when you've got so many monsters on the screen in a dummy thick map, with 3 to 5% of the corpse's life, plus the bit extra, it actually works out to be really good. And you're pretty much only laying it down as fire and forget, like you would these two. So my tactic, as I say, is I'll go into a map, and let's say it's covered in lightning immune. So I'll throw Fire Blast and lay down Wake of Infernos against like champ packs that are pretty stubborn. But a lot of the time you don't need it. This thing just rips through monsters. It's a proper carpet bombing. So yeah, you could specialize in fire and max Death Sentry, and then max the Fire Blast, the Wake of Inferno, and then after that max Shockweb, and anything left over can go into Lightning Sentry. Or you could just go down the Lightning route and max Shockweb, Lightning Sentry, Chain Lightning Sentry. You're sort of leaning into a proper trapper then at that point. But yeah, you could max Death Sentry. That's what I'm getting at. I didn't. As I said, I'm not bothered about it. I love the utility, because sorceresses don't get 2 elements. Sorry. I get, 1 tree with 2 damage types, that are super powerful. Everyone bitches about sorceresses. Anyway, no, I'm not going to rant. Anyway, Shadow Disciplines. So this is all 1 point wonders. Burst of speed, 1 point in it is enough for, and with some increased attack speed on your gear, enough for max trap laying speed. But I'll go over that in a minute because I errored myself. 1 point weapon block with as much skills as I have gives me the 13 faster block rate breakpoint, which isn't brilliant, but I didn't want to sacrifice damage on my gear because with these, they're very damaging, but they're not as damaging as being a full-on trapper, in my opinion. So, I wanted to utilize that, because I really wanted to have more claw block. I wanted to really slam points into that. I wanted to slam more points into burst of speed so I could run around faster, but once again, when it comes to traps, you've got a lot of points in this tree. It's practically impossible. And of course, a 1 point wonder in Dragonflight, and again, with the amount of plus skills I have now with the changes to Dragonflight in Season 13, it now has a 1.5 second cooldown without me having to ram a bunch of points in it. Thank you, devs. Thank you. Because this can still be a damn good utility to characters that are shadow or traps and not heavily invested in martial arts. However, if you are a kicker and you've maxed Dragonflight, happy days. More damage, no cooldown. So yeah, that's the skills. So let's go on to the gear. Right, oh, no, wrong button. Let's go on to the gear. So, I got my Whispering Mirage for a Vex rune, like really early on. That's probably worth more now, I don't know. But the 3 sockets is important, because when I didn't have Nat set. I had Steel Shade Armlet, I had Atma's Whale, I had a rare shield with huge res on it and 3 sockets full of diamonds, all that kind of stuff. But I wanted to get into Nats as soon as possible. But I got the claw, bought it with 3 sockets, filled it up with shales. And this is where I made an error, because this claw is speed 10, Nat's claw is speed 0, and has 40 increased attack speed on it. As you can see, mine's 3 sockets, 2. If I'd have filled that with a couple of increased attack speed res jewels or something like that, then this could be the shield claw. So I kind of got a bit eager and messed up, because this now has 2 all-res jewels in it and a lightning facet, a 4/5 lightning facet. So I'm going to have to gather some more gear again before I reappropriate, but then you want to make Gnat's Claw your main one because it's faster than Whispering Mirage. So at the moment I'm 1 trap laying breakpoint slower than I could be. And it does make all the difference, it really does. But I'll show that in the gameplay. Yeah, so I've got a Gnat's Helm that my friend Herbs gave me and I slammed it for 2 sockets. Before that I had one that I bought for a couple of Wellstone shards, slammed it for poison res, put 1 socket in it. So I'm, there is one on the market right now for +1 skills that I need to buy, so I need to get on it. The guys gave me this amulet, I slammed it for fun, and immediately regretted it because it's got +1 skills and it's only a +1 assassin. So I was very sad. However, the strength really helps to put the gear on, life, res, it's all good stuff. But I will be trying to capitalize on my amulet in the near future. I got these ones for, I think, a couple of Wellstone shards, and slammed them for life after each kill. And I decided that's endgame for me. Sustain is very important, so that's me done. I mean, if I get some boots myself, I'm not going to go out and buy more. But if I get ones with higher life per kill, yay. Not even sure if it can go high. I think it can go to 3. I'm not very well today, though, chat. I'm very sick. So, I don't know what's happened to me, but I got sick. Anyway, so this, sadly, is a complicated story. I'm not going to go into the bitching about it, but I had a bit of a, trade altercation with this one, being that I overpaid massively, and the guy was a bit, sort of, not willing to discuss about it. He was very childish, in my opinion. I thought, well, come on, guys. We've been playing this game 20-something years. You think we'd, be able to have a discourse about overpayment and underpayment, but hey, people put a lot of value on these pixels and they get very upset about it. So I paid 3 high runes for this, which, it's worth 1.52. But again, I'm not going to go get stuck on that. I really wanted the plus skill because it's my end game. It's a 3/3, which is also something I really wanted. Like I said, I want a +1 on there, and I have a puzzle box burning a hole in my pocket ready to slam that. So yeah, very important that it's 3/3. It's just a great armor. Now, as you can see, I've done something a bit unorthodox with this, and I've slammed, because I don't have a lot of life per kill jewels at the moment. I only have 1 that's 2 life per kill, but I'm hoping to get the jewel map soon and just get all the jewels identified and find some life per kill. And then I'll fill this armor up with life per kill. But in the meantime, a nice little... well, for me anyway, because we all know I love replenish life. It's one of those stats that I think is highly underrated, but everyone else sort of thinks it's rubbish. I stuck 3 Dol runes in this armor for replenish life 60. So when you're doing maps and you get one of those awful drain life maps, you don't care. You just don't care. It's really hard to get a drain life map, unless it's a unique one, of course, that's going to come close to penetrating that 60 replenish life. So yeah, that's that. This ring got fairly early on, I think. I can't remember how I got the origins of it, but vitality, energy, dex to put the claws on, and then high fire and lightning res. Every time I try and replace it, I struggle. But as I said, if I can get these claws moved around, get some all res going on, maybe take the topaz out, put a couple of runes. Again, I just need to fiddle with the gear a little bit. So yeah, I got Thunder God's Vigor yesterday at the very end of my stream, and I was like, wow. Because before that, I was using this belt here for the physical damage taken reduced by 8%. Because the problem with this character is it's fairly squishy, and you need to be up close and personal, throwing things at the monsters. So the arc of Fire Blast and Shock Web, the Kobe is brought closer to the monsters, so you kill quicker. So yeah, and this had Mondo Res on it that I didn't really need. However, the difference... every little counts. It's 2.5, 2.1 to 12k with it on. I take it off and it's 11k, 2.321. So I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to stick with Thunder Gods. Maybe I'll see if I can get one that slams up with a better slam. What I was aiming for here was even more MDR, PDR. I wanted a String of Ears, or maybe even a Dungos with the Vitality. But I've got quite a big life pool. Because you don't need to put, just enough strength for gear, dex in block, all that kind of stuff. We'll get to that. So yeah, Ravenfrost, I slammed for physical damage takings. Again, I wanted as much as possible. You get a decent amount from Gnat's set. As you can see, well, my head's in the way, but 20% physical and MDR 12 flat. Again, look up Gnat's set, guys, if you don't know it by now. If you're new to the game, go on the Wikipedia and look it up. Gnat's set it's really, really good, in my opinion. I mean, obviously, I'm only using it really because people are probably saying, well, why don't you go uniques, Dean? I'm like, well, here's my rationale behind sets versus uniques. I'll try and make it as quick as possible. So with sets, you get more res, you get more life, you get more mana, you get more perks, but you get slightly less damage, unless you've got the slams like I have. So you've got +1 skill slams here, I'll get a +1 skill slam here, it brings it up in line with the uniques. And obviously it's like, yeah, but with uniques you get a +1 slam, and it takes it higher. Yeah, but you get less life, less mana, less MDR and things like that, usually, when you're balancing your gear. So that's why I love sets. They give you a nice package deal for, little expense, should we say. Reasonable expense in this armor's case. But again, not bitching, not bitching. Right, Mage Fists, I found these and slammed them myself for increased attack speed, and I thought, and then I realised, no, that's best in slot for me, because that puts me at the speed breakpoint. So, what will happen is, as I say, I'll pull all the shells out and put in facets. This claw, I'll put in a 15 increased attack speed duel with res, a 15 increased attack speed duel with res. I have these two bad boys, actually, they're really good. So I've got a 30 cold and a 30 lightning there. And then that will be my increased attack speed breakpoint with the faster claw. Then after that, I can put a facet back in or something like that. Or I might just not even bother and just, fill that up with facets, fill that up with the increased attack speed duels. Again, the world's my oyster when it comes to filling with this gear. So anyway, that's enough about gear. Let's move on to charms. So, trap skillers are ridiculously expensive in my opinion, and it's a bit ridiculous. So this one I paid probably 1.5 for, this one was probably 1.5 as well. These were a gull rune each. This one was advertised as gull, this one was, my friend Maj was selling it for a Vex, but he gave me it to a gull for mates rates. Cheers Maj, you're a legend. Go check out his videos. This one was Wellstone shards, Wellstone shards, Wellstone shards, Wellstone shards, as you get. This one was given to me by my friends that I play with. So again, aiming to get to 35 life, but that's perfectly sufficient in the meantime. Just to help out with Fire Blast, of course. This torch I bought for a ludicrous amount of money as well early on. I had that maybe day 3 or 4 or something. Again, I'm sick. I'm sorry, guys. I don't really remember. But I paid Sir Rune and some for it. I don't remember. So all of these lifers, 18, 18 mana, 19, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, and some AR, they're all self-found, just to get the life pool up. I'd love to have a second stat on them, but that's the chaser, isn't it, guys? And then this Annihilus, finally, everybody, I managed to get a decent deal. Because usually, with me, when I buy an unidentified Annihilus, and I slam it, it's always rubbish. So I bought this unidentified for a Sir Rune and a couple of pure demonic essences off the guy. He was willing to accept that because it was slightly lower than the listed price. But he was like, yeah, sure, I need the essences to keep farming. I was like, cool beans. And then I ID'd it and went like that, because usually it's like 30 vitality, 11 rares, and 6 XP gained or something. And I expected to see that. So very pleasantly surprised when I got 50, 14, 8. And the XP has been really telling. Because, moving on to stats, I'm level 93 as of the end of day 7. I'm recording this on day 8 because I didn't want to do it last night. But yeah, so strength is a bit over-prescribed because of me just putting on this last night. But I had it at 149 to put on Gnat's Claw. Because with Dex, you only need Dex to put claws on. Because your dual claw, you're then relying on weapon block. Dex doesn't do anything for that. So Gnat's Claw is 118 Dex, so I have 118. But then we have a 42% chance to block, thanks to the plus skills, which is reasonable in my opinion. It's not too bad. And then the 13 faster block rate frame is awful, but still better than none. So I'm okay with that. You know, I'm dodging, I'm ducking, I'm weaving, I'm hiding behind 3 shadows, so I'm really not bothered. And then it's just a vitality dump. You know, we're nearly at 500. Job's a good one, really. As I say, it's very simply set up. It's fantastic. So we've got max reses, apart from my glorious Thunder Gods giving me 8 to max lightning res. So, you know, I can go into maps with souls and not care. So the advanced stat screen now then. So we have physical reduction 23% and 16 flat NDR. Elemental Mastery and Pierce is just from that one facet. I personally, when it comes to this sort of build, don't really recommend facets because you just want loads of plus skills, really. I mean, don't get me wrong, facets are great and they really do the job. It's just when you're sort of using a gear like this, you still end up needing, you know, a bit more res, you know, and a bit more magic find and a bit more this, even though the sets do provide. I would say, obviously, if you can, squeeze them in there. I mean, I squeeze one in there, wrong, but I intend to keep doing it. Like the helmet, like I said, I want a +1, two puzzle box, fill it up with probably facets, maybe runes, maybe the facets go in the armor. Who knows? We'll figure it out. Anyway, don't need any faster cast rate because trap laying is based off of speed, so our burst of speed. As you can see, we're at the 70 breakpoint for this because of the claw main hand. If I was to pull these about and take them off and take them on and you know, fill that up with shales for you, you'd see that it would go up much, much more. It's a different set of breakpoints because this is speed 10 and this is speed 0. But yeah, as I said, I can get it higher than that. I can get 9 frames if I move stuff around with burst of speed combined with just a faster claw. Anyway, my faster hit recovery's taken a massive dive. And to be honest, I didn't actually notice it until the recording of this video because I took off my belt. I had faster hit recovery on here before. Where is it? I don't know. Yeah, here. So I had a faster hit recovery slam 3-3. And yeah, so now I've taken a hit. So to be honest, I'm probably going to pull out a couple of dull runes and put in a couple of shales. Because it's very important, even though you're at the back, very important to have at least the 48 breakpoint. Which is going to be, you know, 1 shale and maybe a faster hit recovery jewel with a second stat. I've been really lucky with jewels this season, especially I've got to show you this. That's why we're watching this video, guys. This is insane. Look at that bad boy. I rolled that from a level 87 yellow jewel that dropped in a map, and I was like, oh, I should only really roll it if it's 88, but who cares? I got loads of skulls. And I rolled it and went, that's amazing. So I'm hoping to sell that very soon. Get rich. Anyway, I digress, as usual. So, Life Leech and Mana Leech. Let's talk about that a wee second. So, the Nat set gives you that. So I put, because I'm a trapper and I've got loads of trap skills, I decided on my last incarnation of specking up with this character to put 1 point in Blade Shield. Now, it's not necessarily the fact that it's hard points to get the deals damage every, you know, 0.8 in this case seconds down to 0.4 with hard points. It's more about just the damage itself to get the leech. This claw on my main isn't very damaging. This one's better, but it still wouldn't work as well as we'd want it to. Now, obviously, if you wanted to shave points out of somewhere else, you know, max out Blade Shield, you can, but I wouldn't recommend it because you'd want to be maxing the others to get the damage synergy up to do the leech. So in my opinion, it just wasn't worth it. It was one extra thing to cast that didn't really do the job. Looks cool, you know, but no. Skill points are very tight in this build. I'd much rather have max Shadow Warrior so that they, when they get ganked in maps, they can actually survive. Max Shadow Warrior, you know, so that they pump out their Fire Blast and Shockweb mimicking me. The more points they got in it, the more powerful they are. So yeah. And then I've sadly only got 2 life per kill. I don't need mana per kill because, moving on to Mercenary, seamless segue there. Moving on to my Mercenary, she is an Act 1 cold rogue that I've had since, you know, normal difficulty. And so she provides me with meditation, which keeps my mana up, like, crazily. You know, I walk into a map and my mana pool just doesn't go down. It's great. But that's only a side effect of why I want her. I want her to keep me safe because I'm doing, you know, lightning and fire damage, right? So she's doing the trifactor, the tri-elementalist. She's doing cold. And not only that, but the sneaky ice blink, yeah? Freezes target. So that means when, in hell, when she hits someone, they get frozen for about 1 second. It's pretty good. So, and it stops them in their tracks. And also, if the knockback kicks in from ram fodder, great as well. Now, I had some really nice bolts on her that I slammed and they bricked. So I was very, very sad. So I just put some ram fodder on her and just walked away, really. The minus enemy physical res helps her leech. Yeah. I got Tal Rasha, again, for Leech, Resistance's Life, that kind of thing. Increased attack speed dual for the Breakpoint. Pus Spitter, unfortunately, it took me ages to get one. I had a really nice Temu Pus Spitter, which was a spider bow. In fact, no, it wasn't. It was still an edge bow. I hadn't upgraded it. Which had lower res on striking, but it had like 317% enhanced damage on it. So it would have been really nice. I was looking for a puzzle piece, and I was looking for a second rune before I upgraded it. But then in the meantime, this dropped. So I was like, well, Pus Spitter has a 28% chance for 35 as opposed to a 12% chance for 15. So I was like, yeah, I know where my priorities lie here. So good old Pus Spitter as usual. Bad Slam. Well, damage to demons isn't a bad slam, but she's not a demon damager. I suppose it just helps against bosses. But anyway, Shale for Speed Breakpoint. These two-piece Death's Guard and Death's Hand for the increased attack speed. All rares cannot be frozen. Coincidentally, in closed beta, when I was testing, this character was actually wearing these two because I was using Heart of the Oak and Epiphany Shield for the energy shield. So these two-piece combo helped me with the poison resist and poison length reduction because the energy shield on Epiphany meant that I didn't need resistances. I just needed poison res. So yeah, and it's funny they ended up being worked into this build, but on my Merc, I was like, oh, it's coincidental. But anyway. And then lastly, just some boots, huge lightning res, so that when we're in maps and a conviction pops up, her lightning res is pretty swifty so that she can not get too hurt by it. She's got a decent life pool, as you can see, 1752. A damage, I don't mind, you know, the damage being so low, because it's just about freezing targets, knocking targets back, and casting lower resist as fast as possible. But yeah, she's got the 9 frame attack, so she's pumping out fairly fast. Got huge life leech. Again, her physical damage isn't brilliant. I should probably up the Pus Spitter to Demon Crossbow. Whatever it is. Arbalest? I don't remember. Anyway, that is the Mercenary. So, map choices. I'm going to keep this as simple as possible, guys, because the cheese of having two very high powerful but different elements, sorceresses, don't get a fair deal, sorry, I can do any map. I don't care. You know, if I'm running around in a map that has 75% fire immunes, I'm like, ooh, I'll go with lightning all the time. But then it has 120% lightning immune. It might get broken by good old Kyle here and her Pus Spitter, or I just switch to Fire Blast. So when I'm running through maps, I just switch between the two. To be honest, you know, it's like that. You know, you run in, you know, I'll run in, and I'll be like, boom, 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 one, boom, 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 one, boom, 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 one. And monsters come rushing at you, and they hit that massive shockwave, which is doing 12k if they're, you know, unlucky enough to roll that, the monsters, when they hit it. So it's just crazy. So yeah, I've done, you know, pretty much any of these maps. I don't care. Did the corrupted things, they're pretty cool for the new season thing. Yeah, go anywhere, do anything, guys. Right, so in terms of example gameplay, guys, I'm going to leave you with a short video tacked onto the end here from yesterday, where I finally got hold of a tier 3 sigil and did some Uber Ancients, and it went surprisingly well. So hopefully it'll give you a good enough idea of what this character's capable of. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you in my stream sometime, and you can come in and, you know, see her in action. And good luck in the season with your drops. Take care now. Here we go then. Uber Ancients.
Oops.
There we go. Not half bad. Wellstone shards, no high runes, but a nice collection of stuff. Yeah. Gee. 4 juves.